Well, since you guys loved my last Mario Kart video so much, I think it's about time for another. What's up guys, it's trixowter back again with another video, and today I'm going to be ranking all Mario Kart items from the main series games, which includes all of the titles right here. And no, Tour is not mainline. But as you can tell by the title, instead of ranking all these items by myself, I actually have a special guest helping me out today.
Hello everybody, Xsword64 here. I've studied, researched, and consumed so much of the Mario Kart sphere that my parents should probably be ashamed of me. But I'm here today to help out Trix sort out these fan favorite items from across the series. So I'll pass it right back to you, man.
Thanks, man. That's right, Xsword64, a close friend of mine and another creator here on the platform, will be helping me rank all 36 of these iconic items. But with that being said, this will be the tier list format we're using, and now let's get into the actual rankings. Alright guys, for our first item, we got a staple in the series, we have the banana. What are your thoughts on this one, Xsword?
This is a classic. A lot of the items are classics, we're gonna repeat that a lot, but like, you have your iconic items like the shells, the green, the red, the blue, but the banana is like one of the more iconic items, right? It's a classic. You can tie it to Donkey Kong, you know, but overall it's just a pretty solid item, both offensively and defensively.
Yep, no, it's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, you can throw it behind you, throw it forward, other racers on the track can slip on it. It's a pretty solid item, and then, you know, you can also block shell hits from it. You could block most projectile hits with the banana. It is solid. There's not a lot to say about it. I mean, you know...
Yeah, it's pretty basic, yeah, right? But it is what it is.
It is. It's pretty good. What I'd say, I mean, just being honest, it's like right in the middle, you know? It's a staple in the series. I think it's great that it's there. It's not fantastic, though, and I wouldn't say it's bad. So I'd say right in the middle, probably around B tier.
Yeah, B tier. Yeah,
right away.
Starting it off right in the middle, but I mean, there are a lot of better items, and there are a lot more worse items. You know, the scale kinda, you know,
fluctuates. Well, absolutely.
We'll get to that though. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that for sure. Alright guys, for our next item here, we got the multi-banana. Just 3 more bananas, 5 more bananas. That's what we're talking about now. And, you know, solid item, just more of the banana. More of the banana, which is already a solid enough item. I'd say this goes at least a tier above already, just for the fact that you have 3 of them, you know? You have more.
Like, you start with 3 more. Mario Kart 64, you get 5. It's the only game in the series to do that. You get 5, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy.
In most instances of these, well, this item specifically, it will trail behind the player. We were just talking about it. 8 is the only game that has the bananas revolving around the player, like shells normally would.
Yeah.
But having them, I think I prefer them trailing behind.
True.
It's a lot more. It's solid for defense, especially. It's an item you get in the higher places of the race, so like from 5th to 1st.
Yeah.
You can get the banana, the triple banana.
Yeah.
But it's like it's a solid defensive item. You can use it offensively, but I think it shines brightest in its defensive qualities.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the banana, I feel like always is an item that you're normally like will carry and use defensively. I mean, you can. I feel like the only time you're normally going to throw out your banana is when you want to get another item from the like item box. But besides that, you know, the triple bananas, it's triple the multi, both they're great for both uses. I mean, I normally use it defensively, just like you said, but it's a solid item. I mean, it's 5 or 3 bananas, which I mean, that's
the option is still there to use it offensively, but like. That's just it's your choice of how you want to play the game.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's cool that there's kind of different options in different games. Like revolving can help you dodge hits from someone who's throwing something back at you.
Yeah.
The trailing is better, of course, if there's a red shell being thrown at you. But I mean, yeah, there's not much else to say about it. It's 3 bananas or 5 bananas in 64, and it's a solid item. I think once you're higher,
it's definitely higher than the banana.
I think A tier is fine.
A tier, yeah.
Yeah.
Put it there for now, right?
A tier safe.
That's pretty solid.
Absolutely. Alright, for our next item, we have one that's definitely not a fan favorite, but it's not terrible either. It's our Blooper, you know? Our Blooper. It's You know, it's
yeah, it's one of those items. Yeah, it's its use is it's been in a lot of Mario Kart games from what I can remember.
Yeah.
At least since DS, but it probably sooner. Was it in
Yeah.
Double Dash? I might be mistaken.
Blooper. I think Blooper was in DS and forward. And
yeah,
I mean, you know what? It has its purpose. I think it's kind of like a funny item. It's a fun item. But the fact is, it's just not great, you know?
It's not. No, it's not great. A lot of the times, when the ink covers your screen, it doesn't really have that strong of an effect as a distraction on the player. There's maybe 7 or maybe DS it was effective, but in Wii there are times when like the ink pattern on your screen can be so useless.
Bad. Yeah, I remember on Wii it can be like in like the corner of your screen sometimes. Like sometimes it won't even hit the focal point of the screen, and so you are just racing. Yeah. I mean, I think that's the problem with it. Like, if they like done some different, if they done some different variant of this, I think it might do this in the games. But if it was like more, it made the player have like more like slippery ground to race on when they had the item like thrown on them. I think that would be better.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But I mean,
that'd be a cool change.
All we got
I doubt they'll do it, but like,
it's just an ineffective item right now. Honestly, like
it is. It's something. When I see it in my inventory, I'm depressed. Like I want to get rid of it instantly.
You throw that shit away. It's not that great. I mean, it's unique. I wouldn't say it's the worst in the game, but it's an ineffective item that, I mean, no one's really looking for. Let's be honest. No one's looking for this in the item box.
No.
And for that reason alone, I think this is a C tier. A C tier item. Yeah.
C tier, absolutely. I think that's a solid spot for it. It's like there are, I'm not gonna say anything. There will be worse items on this list. Yeah. I already know going forward. There's gonna be bad. There's gonna be bad items on this list. Blooper is definitely one of like the lower rated ones in the fan base community overall.
Yeah,
but there are worse.
There are definitely worse. Yeah, you're not wrong. All right, guys. For our next item, we have another classic in the series. We have the Bob-omb.
I love this one.
Goated. This is more of an offensive item than a defense. It occasionally could be used like defensively, but
yeah, you can block a couple items. Like you can block a red shell with appropriate timing, but it's like it's a little tighter on the timing. But you want to just throw that forward. You want to throw the bomb forward.
Its primary use is definitely like offense, and I think like the way it works, just the way that it's like timed, the way that it requires strategy, I think it's a really fun item to use and to have, and I think it's something you wouldn't like. It's not something you're necessarily looking for in the item roulette, but it's something like you'll never complain
when you get
about.
it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and when you like hit a snipe man with a bomb, there's no better feeling.
There's no like you can get a bit of dopamine out of hitting somebody with like the shock. Like that's always it's a clean sweep for everybody on the board. But there's something of just like throwing the bomb, it bounces like once or twice, and you get somebody with it, or you can like it's so good. It's so good.
It's a great item. I really don't have anything to complain about with this one. I mean, it's not the best, of course, because I mean, an item that can be both offensive and defense is probably a bit better in the end, but still, it's probably one of the best offensive items out there in the game. It can hit multiple targets, unlike a lot of other items. It's solid, man. I think it's fair. I'd say I'd put this one in A tier. It's definitely high up there.
A tier, yeah. One thing as well, there's an entire battle mode centered around this item,
dude.
Bob-omb Blast. That is solid. Like it's definitely one of the more better. What am I saying?
Yeah.
It's definitely one of the better battle modes in the series. Like they have a lot of recurring battle modes. Like Balloon Battle is kind of like a classic. You can't really go wrong with it. But Bob-omb Blast was only in 2 games. It was in Double Dash and 8 Deluxe. And the fact that they brought it back for 8 Deluxe was really dope. But like this game mode, if you haven't tried before, it's a lot of fun.
It is.
You get so many Bob-ombs in your arsenal. It is just fantastic.
Yeah.
I think what did you say? A tier? I think A tier solid. Yeah.
A tier's great.
That's good.
But moving on, our next item here is another solid item. It's the Boo. This one was originally released in the first game, but it was only in what was it? It was like every mode except for the main Grand Prix mode.
Yeah, I think it was like I don't know if it was a CPU exclusive item or if it was like a battle mode exclusive item. Probably the latter.
Yeah.
But you couldn't use it in regular. In Mario Kart 64, I think that was the first game that it truly introduced it into the main item roulette, so that you could get it in like Grand Prix and stuff.
Yeah, no, it's I mean, it's a solid item, man. You steal an item from some other player, like a random player's pick. You steal their item, and you're invisible for a few seconds. Which, I mean, it's really the first introduction to that kind of item in the series. There isn't many items that do that let you go invisible. I mean, it's solid. It was good. It was really cool to see it come back in 8 originally. I remember being pretty excited for that. It's a good item, man. You can pull off a lot of crazy plays with this one.
you can, really. Yeah. Like, there's the fact that you can go invisible and kind of like deke out the other enemy racers, and while doing that, you are invincible. You can dodge pretty well everything while in this form. It's like a star, but like,
yeah,
you can. The biggest upside is that you can phase through other opponents. You can't phase through terrain. Like, you can't like go through walls or other objects.
I mean, that would be crazy.
But you can that would be nuts.
That would be nuts.
But you can dodge lightning. You can dodge the blue shell. You can dodge any oncoming offensive items, explosions from Bob-ombs, anything. While being able to take another item from a player. It's broken.
It's great.
Like, it's really.
I mean,
good.
you steal a shroom. That's like crazy enough. Like, right? Like, that's. It could be any. I mean, it's an item that could really be replaced by any item. So it's got to be high up. I'd say A tier. I say A tier safe. I think it's
safe. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it like. I mean, it can be. A lot of the times they're gonna end up getting pretty crap items, because I mean, most racers in the race will have worse items just because of placements and everything.
Yeah, it's that element of luck.
Yeah, right? The element of luck, and so. The fact of that, I think probably the Bob-omb's a bit better just because offensively it's such a great item. But I think the Boo can definitely stay in A tier, like just below it for now. I think that's safe.
That's cool. We can. I'd say right now we only have 3 items now, counting the Boo in there, so we can pop it towards the bottom. That's chill.
All right, for our next item now, we have the Boomerang Flower. This one's introduced in 8. It's an offensive and defensive item. It's not great in my opinion. Not at all, honestly.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat. Its offensive and defensive capabilities are definitely debatably a lot stronger than the shell or the banana, because you actually get to kind of control where you want to throw it, and you get 3 attempts. It's kind of similar to a triple variant. Yeah. But like, something about this item, it just doesn't sit well with me. I was never a fan of it in 8 at all.
I agree with you. It just, I don't know, it's missing something. It's just kind of like product placement for a game that's out. I mean, what was it? It was 3D World that came out with
3D Land first.
3D Land.
Then
3D Land. World. Right. 3D Land. Yeah, it was in 3D Land, 3D World. But it kind of came out around the same 8. Kind of came around the same time, and it was kind of just. Let's throw another item into the roulette. I don't think it really needs to be there.
Nah. Just for the time, they needed to kind of like probably fill some sort of quota where it's like, oh, we can take this item from a game that's coming out, use it as a little bit of like, oh, what's this item from? This is from this game you can go play, right? Oh, it's a cool item. I don't know. I'm not here for it.
Yeah,
not gonna lie. Not
I mean, yes, it is solid to the fact that it has 3 uses, but at the same time, I mean, I don't know. It's just something about getting this item. It doesn't feel great to use. It, in my opinion, at least, it doesn't. It's just not It's not as good as like what I'd say is the green shells and banana stuff. We'll get into that later. Yeah. I think it's just kind of a throwaway item that I could see being thrown away in the next game and never coming back. And you know what? Honestly,
it will never return.
Yeah, and
it will never return.
And I won't complain, honestly. No,
I think
I welcome that. Yeah. But with that being said, yeah, it's not great. It's definitely below mid in my opinion. I think this is a C tier.
Yeah, we can put it low. Put it with the blooper. I'd say
definitely top.
It's above the blooper. The blooper is almost ineffective in every game it's in. It's just not effective. At least there's some form of like capabilities with the Boomerang Flower, right? Like
it can at least attack and defend yourself. I mean, blooper's just doing nothing to help you. Really,
nothing, dude. Nothing. You're swerving around, bro. You're trying to get that off your screen.
Yeah, Boomerang Flower. top of C for now. Not great, not terrible. It's top of C. For our next item, we have a classic, another great item in the series. It's the Bullet Bill.
Ah, yes.
Yep, Bullet Bill. Introduced in DS. I think it's been in every game since. It is great. It's a great item.
It is one of the most overpowered items in the entire series. Absolutely.
Yeah, you can... You are what? You get this in like the lower placements. If you're like far back, like 12th place, you get this, and it's meant to kind of bring you forward and give you a standing chance if you're really far behind in the race, which is... It's a cool item to have. It's a great item to have. I mean, I guess it would also help a lot of players that, you know, are new to the game have a better time. It is
good
solid,
catch-up
man.
mechanic.
It's fun. I mean, you can never complain when getting this because all it's going to do is help you. It literally has no downside, really. It's
not really.
And also, like, offensively, it's great as well, which is another thing to talk
Oh my
about.
god, anybody that's coming into contact, boom, you are out of the picture.
Yeah, it's great. I mean...
You're invincible while you're in the Bullet Bill form as well. Like, for a small amount of time, it depends on the placement. I know in at least in 8, maybe 7 as well, when you're in a lower position using the Bullet Bill, and you're getting closer to first... The time that you're in the bullet will slow down, and you're eventually going to pop back out. Just so it doesn't carry you to first like it does in, like, DS and Wii. They had no idea how to balance that item when they first introduced it. It was broken in those games.
It was crazy.
It was broken.
But yeah, to say the least, it's great. It's literally like it's an item with no downside. It's just, I think it's great that it's been there ever since DS. I'll never complain about it. I think I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's a perfect item. I think this might be our first top end fucking item.
Oh, first S plus.
S plus.
Item.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this belongs in S plus. I mean, it's
Rightfully
an
so.
iconic item. It is great. There's no downsides, like I mentioned 7 times now, but yeah.
But no, you're right though.
It's true though. Like
you're starting this, you're coming back from the very bottom, close to the very top. So like it's
great item, perfect item.
S plus.
Alright, for our next item, we have another solid one. It is the Bowser Shell from Mario Kart Double Dash. This one is a special item for both Bowser and Bowser Jr. in the game. Special items were introduced in Double Dash. They're only in Double Dash, and yeah, so they were created for pairs. This is our first special item, so it's probably worth mentioning. Yeah, each pair in the game had it, like Baby Mario, Baby Luigi, Mario and Luigi. They all had a special item, and this was Bowser and Bowser Jr.'s. It's solid. I mean...
yeah, this item is great.
Yeah.
This item is fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great offensively, great defensively. It's pretty much a huge green shell that will tear through enemies. I mean, it doesn't...
Yeah, it will.
It doesn't break, you know?
It lasts for quite some time. It will pretty well obliterate anything in its path, like the Bullet Bill's kind of like destructive capabilities. It will kind of just trailblaze and go bounce off walls, going through obstacles, like... Put that shit on Baby Park. It is gonna be a crazy time.
It is a great item, man. I mean, I wouldn't say there's much to complain about. I mean, of course, if it tracked onto enemies, that would be a bit better. But I mean, still, like by itself, massive green shell that doesn't break. It's great. It's a great offensive item. It's probably one of the best out there. And for that, I think it deserves a spot pretty high up. I'd definitely put this one S tier, honestly. It's
S tier.
It's solid. Looking at our list, I think S tier would be a solid spot for this one so far.
It's one of the better shell items, if not the. But I'm not gonna get ahead of myself here. We got a couple more items to get through, right? But like, It is definitely one of the better shell items.
It is. It's
great. S, yeah, that's good.
Also, shout out to our man. We had to shout him out.
Yep. Quick story before we continue. Our good friend Brisky_business. We got to shout him out. This is Double Dash is his favorite Mario Kart. When we pitched the idea to each other about these videos, or about this video specifically, he had specifically said to us, make sure the Bowser shell is high up.
Yeah,
make sure you guys do not sleep on that item.
And we didn't, man. Like we never really did from the start. It is a good item. Like there's nothing to complain about with this one. It's a solid. Just great shell. Probably one of the best shells in the game, honestly. It's awesome. It's an awesome item. Absolutely. S tier is what will stay for now.
Yep. S is good.
Alright, for our next item now, we have the Chain Chomp. This is another Double Dash item, another one given to the Baby Mario and Baby Luigi. This is their pair special item. And, I mean, it's alright. You know, that's what I'll say. It's like what I'd say, it's like a baby's Bullet Bill. That's the way I'd put this one.
Pretty much. It is a weaker Bullet Bill, to say the least.
Yeah, it's so you just, I mean, what? You use it, and it kind of drags you forward in the race, and it's like very sporadic movements, like left, right, like it's just going all over the place. You're being sent around. And I mean, it's good because I think offensively it might be a little bit better than the Bullet Bill, but at the same time, you're not getting as much distance. And the other thing is like when you're left off at the end, when this item leaves you off, it can put you anywhere.
It's very inconsistent where it leaves you, because you could like a good example I can think of immediately is tracks like Peach Beach or Wario Coliseum, where you're making a super sharp turn and then the Chain Chomp's chain breaks and it's gonna send you flying in that direction. You have no idea where it's gonna let you go, because the Chain Chomp's duration is a lot shorter than the Bullet Bills. You can't really predict when you're gonna get left off.
No, it's absolutely true.
It's very inconsistent.
And I think that's its biggest downfall. I mean, I think it was like their first try at Bullet Bill, which is definitely commendable because that's a great item. But like in all aspects, it really is just a much worse Bullet Bill. It was never an item that I say it's not one of the highlights of Double Dash for its special items. It's an all right item, is what I'd say. It's right in the middle. I'd say I'd put this one in B tier, honestly.
B tier, yeah. I think that's a solid choice. Like it's got its ups and it's got its downs, but it's still it's not going to beat perfection. That's the Bullet Bill, so
and it's one of the only items to be like completely replaced, I guess. I mean, Bullet Bill will always keep that spot. Now I can't ever see this coming back.
There's no way. I don't think they'll remove Bullet Bill. I don't think they'll bring back Chain Chomp unless they do special items again. But like that, I don't know.
Yeah. And I think for that reason, bottom of B for now. For our next item, we have one that is not great at all, if I'm being honest.
No, that's a good
we just got to start. I got to start to just bring it into you guys. I'm not a huge fan of this one. It's the coin.
I think there's a lot of people that will agree with us here, because not many like the coin.
No. I mean, it was introduced in the original. I think it was also in Super Circuit. And then I believe after that, it skipped a good few games. It came back in 7 and 8, and I think that's really all the games it was in. I believe so. I might be wrong.
Yeah,
but
it was very, very prominently featured in 7 and 8. It's a core mechanic.
Yeah.
Compared to what it was in the earlier titles, like with Super and I think Super Circuit. It never really... It offered a slight speed boost, which it also does in 7 and 8.
Yeah.
But it's like... It was really insignificant back then compared to where it was now.
And I mean, really all it adds now is the fact that, like you said, it is like, it gives you rewards now. So, like car parts are all unlocked through coins and how many coins you've gotten throughout all your races. But in all honesty, I mean, it sucks that this is now an item box item. Before, this was just on the ground. Like on the older games, I think this was only really on the ground. That's mostly where you got most of them.
Yeah.
But now, it's an item box slot. It's not great. The speed boost it gives is kind of like very, very small to the point where you don't even notice it, really.
Nah, you don't really notice it at all.
I feel like there's different ways they could have given you rewards. I don't think this needed to come back for this. Like, I didn't think this ever really needed to come back. It kind of just sucks to have this in the item roulette because there's so many items you can get, and now you're getting one that just gives you an unrecognizable speed boost. Like, that's it.
As soon as you get this item, in most positions, you're immediately pressing the trigger to get rid of it.
Yeah.
You want this item gone as fast as you can so you can get another, probably more useful item for you.
Yeah. It's bad, man. It's not a good item. It's one that I think most people could have been completely content with it being left out.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be honest, without going too much into it, because we pretty much nailed all the points that we can nail about this item. It's not great. I think it's bottom of C, honestly. It's our
bottom C. Yeah, we'll put it below the Boomerang and the Blooper, because it's just like, it's crazy to say that Blooper even has a better purpose than the coin.
Yeah.
It's kind of true. At least the Blooper is trying to like disrupt the player. The coin is just pointless.
It really is pointless. It's not great.
Awesome sound.
Oh my God. Was it your garbage? Jesus Christ.
It's my fucking recycling can.
Oh, okay. Jesus Christ. For our next items, what should I say items now? Because we're going to tackle two at once because these items are just too similar to do separately. We're going to do the Crazy 8 and the Lucky 7 together. Now, these games were both made for 7 and 8 respectively, of course, as their names show.
Yeah.
It's just what?
Very
it's
creative. Good job, team. Yeah.
7 items from the roulette revolving around the player. That's what it really is. It gives 7 different items and then 8 different items in 8 and what? It adds a coin, I think, in 8.
It's the same. It's the same items. I can't remember what they are exactly now, but if I can just just gonna pray.
Yeah.
We're gonna I think it's blooper, shell, banana, mushroom, star, coin from 8,
Yeah.
Bob-omb, star, which I probably already counted.
Yeah, star might have been there. It doesn't really matter. If you guys really care, I mean, you can search it up. But
Yeah, that's fine.
but it's not like, I mean, most of the items are kind of insignificant. I mean, it's a decent item. It's just like kind of like a throwaway one too, though, because I mean, these are made for specific games. They can't really return because of that. They're made based off the title of each game, and I mean, they don't really add anything new. It's just giving you multiple items. It's
a weird gimmick item.
I don't know.
Honestly.
I mean, of course, it's solid because you are getting things like mushrooms and stars, which you can't complain about. I mean, these are great like items to use in races, but at the same time,
it's like a risk reward type of situation because you can get all these kind of decent items. You can throw away, like strategically, you can throw away where it's rotating around the player, where it's revolving. You can throw away some of the worst items and then keep you can keep the mushroom, the star, the bomb, and use them whenever you want. You can pick a time to use them to cut a corner, to do a jump, to do anything, right? But the risk in it is if an enemy opponent bumps into you, you either have the chance at losing one of those good items, or if they hit a bomb, then you both blow up, and it's like...
And I think at that point, you also drop all your items when you're hit by anything, right? I believe the items scatter after you're hit.
Yeah, like the shells will explode, like they'll blow up, they'll be disintegrated by the Bob-omb, but like your mushroom's gonna go one direction, the star's gonna go one direction, the banana, right? Like they scatter off of the explosion. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's not, I wouldn't say it's one of the best items, I wouldn't say it's one of the worst items. It's kind of just a throwaway item that's put in there that you won't complain about, but it's just not really needed is what I'd say. Still solid. I think B tier is a safe spot for this for now.
You can put both of them in B.
Yeah.
I'd say pop the Crazy 8 above one slot over the 7 just because it has the coin, I guess. One other extra item, why not?
Yeah.
Right? That's fine.
Yeah, no. Right above the banana for now. And I think that's a safe spot for these two items. Yeah. Crazy 8, of course, will be one place above just because you do get an extra item. I mean, you can't complain. And I mean, I know some people might say, like, we're probably underscoring this one, but I just want to say, like, tell me you've gotten this item and not just tried to get rid of it immediately. Like, tell me you don't just spam as soon as you get this item.
Because people hoarding these items, that's crazy. Trying to save these items, that's crazy. Because
there's no point of saving it, right? Because you have, what, a banana, like, everything revolves. So... At the point where you'll get it, like a banana, one singular banana or one single green shell revolving around you, you're not gonna... There's a high chance you're still gonna get hit by any items. It's not really gonna help you defensively at all.
No, imagine like hoarding a shell, one shell that goes around.
Yeah,
you. No.
it's not worth it. It's still a solid item, I will say. It's right in B. It's B tier.
Yeah, B
tier for now.
B absolutely, that's good.
Yeah. For our next item, we have another staple in the series. Honestly, it's a pretty classic item. We have the fake item box. This one, it's pretty good. I like this item.
Yeah, it's solid. I like this one a lot. I think a lot of people sleep on this item, personally. Yeah. Like, it's been in a couple of games. It's introduced in Mario Kart 64.
Yeah.
But it hasn't returned since Wii. Yeah. It hasn't been in a game since Wii, and I think it deserves a second chance.
Absolutely.
It's pretty good.
I mean... 64, it was definitely most effective just because it looked pretty much identical to a normal item box. Like, it was really hard to tell the difference. and for that reason, like it was really easy to actually trick people with it. I feel like that was definitely nerfed when they made them like red and double dash, so it's a lot more easier to pick out. But it's still an item that requires like a lot of strategy. It can be used defensively, offensively. It's pretty solid. It's honestly a solid item. I can't see much to complain about except for the fact that it's kind of been nerfed. I mean, it's one Mario Kart item that's been nerfed significantly.
It's true.
Since the start.
It is one of the only items that can really deceive the player. Like, the Boo, you're invisible. You can kind of maneuver like that, but like you just said, you can lay the item box, especially Mario Kart 64.
Yeah.
You can lay the FIB on a regular item box,
Yeah.
and it's really crazy that you can do something like that. Like, there's no other item, in my opinion, that has that level of deception. It's unique.
Yeah.
Right?
So yeah, you can make it kind of blend in with the originals. But also, I will say, it's still possible in the later games. Even though it's red and a lot more noticeable, you can like still place this inside of another item box, and it's really hard to tell that it would be there. There's still ways.
The color
of using
only
it.
changes when you if you have it at a line with the item boxes.
Yeah.
When it's red, or like it will stay the same rainbow color, but it'll only turn red as you approach.
Yeah.
So it still does its job.
Yeah, it's still solid. It's a solid item. I think honestly, just because of how unique it is, how fun of an item it is to use and like set up and to use like to strategize with, I think I'd put this one in A. Honestly, I think
A tier. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm in agreement with you. This item needs to come back in the next Mario Kart.
I hope it does. We'll place it beneath Bob-omb for now and beneath Multi-Banana, but over Boo. I think it's a bit better than Boo. I think it's a bit more fun to use than Boo. It's
I'm with that as well.
Yeah.
Like that.
For our next item, we have one that's not great at all. I'm just gonna start off. We have to start this one off. It's one of our lower ranked ones. I'll just say that off the start. We have the feather.
Yeah.
We have the feather. This one was really only in Super and 8. I think 8 Deluxe only. 8 Deluxe.
Yeah. Two games.
Super and 8 Deluxe. And in Super, it had a bit more of a use. What this does is it just gives you one little like bounce, one leap, I guess. So
jump.
You use it, one jump upwards, and that's about it.
That's the whole item.
That is the item.
Literally the whole item.
It gives you a jump, and it was cooler in Super Mario Kart, like I said, because there were instances where it was actually used to perform shortcuts. Like there's a Ghost Valley shortcut I remember where you would use it, you jump, and you get onto another part of a bridge that leads back into the course. It's an actual like pretty solid shortcut for the game. And so yeah, it had a bit more use then, but then it came back in 8 Deluxe in only battle mode.
It was exclusive to 8D's battle mode. And I find like to bounce off of your point about Super, the thing with Super is the fact that it was so flat. The entire game was flat, and they had those like colored brick walls that go around the courses. You can hop them over like it's a fence. Yeah. You can't really do that at all in 8.
Yeah. There's
like,
nothing
at
for
all.
it. I mean, if there was some way for them to do that in the future, it would be cool. I will say that. Like, if they could
if they can add like a proper jump shortcut, like that would be...
It would be cool if they implemented that and put it in the base game. But the fact that it's only battle mode, and even in battle mode, like, it's an item you don't want, really. Like, you never really care for the feather. I mean, I guess you can jump over other people's items in battle mode, but that's about all it's used for. It. That is it. You jump over someone's item, and that's never really going to happen, so...
No, it's more of a dodge item. It's defensive. Yeah. There's not really a purpose in getting it. Like I'd spam it.
Yeah, it's that's the thing. Yeah, it's really not useful anymore. It was cool to see it introduced. It might have been cooler back in the day when Super Mario Kart was new because, yeah, for a game that's more flat, it was cool to have a jump in it. But nowadays, having this back in like 8 Deluxe really shows that it just can't work as an item anymore, and it's just not good. It's a pretty bad item, and I think honestly, it's got to be our first D tier.
Yeah, I think it's got to go low. It's got to go. Yeah, it's got to go low. D tier. Yeah, we can put it there because it's just not. There are items that are better, like the feather. As important as a jump may be for shortcut potential, the thing is, it was only in 2 games. Yeah. And one was for actual racing. The other one
I don't
wasn't.
know. Yeah, it's a terrible item, honestly. Like now, if you put this in a new like Mario Kart, it's terrible. Like I think it's better to have mushrooms be used as shortcut potential now. It's just it doesn't work anymore. It kind of it's done its time, and I think that's it. I wouldn't say we'll see this one return. I think this is it for the feather, and it's not great. It's D tier. It's our first D tier item.
D tier it is.
Yeah. For our next item, we have the Fireball. This is another special item. We're getting a lot of special items out of the way right now. It's another special item from Double Dash, of course. This is Mario and Luigi's. And what it is, really, is just... I believe it's a Fireball that is thrown out, and it goes... One goes directly forward, and there's two other sets that go, like, different like angles diagonally. And I think that's really what the item is.
It's kind of like a cone, but not really. Like one fireball leads the pack, and then the others kind of just like spread out.
Yeah, they spread out over time. And I mean, offensively, it's a great item. Honestly, it's pretty solid, but it doesn't really have any defensive capabilities.
Yeah, you're not able to throw the item behind you. You can't throw it back. Yeah, but like you can, if you want to target or like single out one opponent specifically, or maybe even two, you can kind of like lock onto them and then throw the fireball, and it will most likely, like one of those fireballs when they spread out
they'll probably
diagonally will probably hit.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot to say about it. That's really what the item is, right? It's just a defensive item, simple, pretty shot out four diagonal, I guess, and one directly forward. You could definitely hit a player with it, but it's not too special. It was kind of replaced in the later games by another item, which we'll mention soon. But
yeah, really soon.
Really soon. Yep. But yeah, so Fireball, all right item. It's like right in the middle, I'd say. I think it's a B tier item for now.
B tier, yeah. Pop it above the banana though, just due to its offensive capability.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, there's 5 of them. If there's 5 bananas, I mean, of course that would probably beat it. But yeah, I mean, a Fireball shoots out 5. Great offensively, good item. B tier.
Solid.
Yeah. Absolutely. For our next item, we have the Fire Flower. We just mentioned the Fireball has another variant that replaced it later on. This is it.
Yeah.
I mean, what? You get a Fire Flower, and you can now shoot fireballs for, I think it's a timed thing, right? Or it might be based off the amount of uses.
It's amount of uses, I think. I don't know off by hand how many you get, but I know that, like, if you get the item and you spam it, you're kind of going until that circle up top of the item runs out. Yeah, and I mean it's solid. I mean, I wouldn't say offensively it's as good as the Fireball, just because it doesn't have the spread, but because this one will only shoot a Fireball forward or backwards. Yeah. And I think that's also the reason why I'd say it might be a bit better, because you can shoot it backwards, and so it can be used defensively, unlike the Fireball, which is... Yep, it can break red shells, which is another major defensive capability. Very solid. Yeah, I think overall, I mean, there's not much else to say. You shoot fireballs backwards or forward, and that's pretty... it's all right. I think it's just B tier, and I'd say it was just a little bit above our Fireball. Yeah, I pop it above the Fireball, just because it's got a little more oomph to it. Alright guys, for our next item, we have the Giant Banana. This is another special item that was introduced in Double Dash, and this is the one for Diddy Kong and Donkey Kong. Yes, sir. What it is, just a huge banana that you can throw, I guess, forward or backwards, that, when broken, obviously makes you wipe out, but also spreads out. I don't know how many specifically, but it shoots out like a spread of bananas around the player as well, for other players to hit. I think it's 3 to 5 bananas, if I'm not mistaken. Like, when you throw the giant banana and it lands, it covers a massive amount of terrain. It can close off chokes, like in Dino Dino Jungle, the tunnel before the main bridge section. You can cover a lot of space with it, but when you run into it, or if somebody runs into it anyways, the giant banana breaks, and it splits into, I think it is 3 to 5 bananas. So its offensive capabilities are ridiculous. Super, super strong. I mean, it's great. I mean, it's pretty much an all-in-one banana. Like, we have our single banana with the way it's used, that you throw it back or throw it forward, and it's one single banana, but it's also much bigger, which kind of upgrades upon that. And then it's also the multi-banana after a player hits it. So it's kind of a 2-in-1. You have all... It is. Yeah, and it's... I mean, I can't find anything to complain about. I think it's a great item. I think this is
probably another A tier item that would be right above multi-banana, just because it kind of does the single banana and multi-banana together. Yeah, so it's solid item. Pretty good.
It is the best banana item, definitely.
Yeah, above multi-banana and below Bob-omb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Decent spot. A. I'm with that.
For our next item, we have the golden mushroom. This is honestly, I'll just say it right off the bat, one of the best items in the game. I mean,
yep.
This was introduced in 64, I believe, and then came back in Double Dash as a special item for Toad and Toadette, and then continued to stay in the series as a single item. And I mean, man, it's perfect. It's a perfect item. It's a mushroom that you can. It's infinite use for a certain period of time, and so you have like what I would say maybe 10 seconds, 15, and sometime in between there,
give or take.
Yeah.
Right?
And
something like that.
Yeah, you can spam it. You get so far ahead. I mean, you could probably cover the same amount of distance as a bullet bill, honestly, just using this item if you are using it, like timing it properly and everything. It's great, man. It's probably one of the best speed items in this game. I mean, I'm sure you have your own experiences with it too.
Yeah. Well, like the whole concept behind boosting, right? Like we can kind of save that for the mushrooms when we do talk about them, just to give them a bit of buffer. But like, the golden mushroom on its own, having the ability to have that amount of time that you can catch up, like the bullet bill.
Yeah.
But it's even better because with the bullet bill, you're kind of on a strict path. You can control it a little bit, but the golden mushroom, you can take off-road cuts.
Yeah.
Like any snow level, you can use the golden mushroom, cut through the snow, right? Like it's just the amount of opportunities that the golden mushroom presents when you do have it is phenomenal. It is such a great item. It is one of the only items besides like maybe the star or maybe other items that I'm not going to say right now that you are looking and wanting to obtain in the race because it gives you that clutch. It's insane.
No, it's great. I mean, like you said, it's kind of like, I mean, it's a bullet bill that you yourself control. You control the bullet bill, and you can go wherever. You can take shortcuts and stuff. You can honestly optimize the route, getting yourself further than a bullet bill.
Absolutely.
Can. It's a great item. It's probably one of the best in the game. It's S+, man. It's top S+.
S+. Yep. This is probably the best item in the game.
Yeah.
You know, we still got a lot. We got a lot more to go through yet, but it's like it is definitely up there.
It's perfect item, man. This is the perfect Mario Kart item. For our next item now, we have one that's definitely not as great, but still a solid item. This is the green shell. It's another staple to the series. It is your standard offensive and defensive item. You can either throw it forward and hit a player, or you can hold it behind you and block hits, which is it's
pretty standard, right?
Yeah.
Like it's your most, I'd say one of the most common items alongside the banana. It's classic for that reason, right? You got your two easiest offensive and defensive items right at the get-go for, I'd say, neutral to higher positions in the race. And yeah, there's not really a whole lot to say about the green shell. It is what it is for a reason.
What I'd say is like it's your standard defensive and offensive item. It's I say honestly, just to kind of put it in a bit of a place now already, it's a bit better than banana just because it like offensively, I'd say this is a much better item. Like, of course,
you can strategize. You can bounce it off walls and stuff, right? Like while you have the overhead like sniping capabilities of the banana, I feel like you can definitely aim up your shot a lot better with the green shell,
and it will consecutively hit walls, so there's more of a chance for it to go back or something to hit another player. Unlike the banana, it's your solid. I think it's probably the best, or one of the best. I'm not gonna say the best. One of the best like single offensive and defensive items in the game. And so it's not, I wouldn't say it's perfect. I wouldn't say it's terrible. I'd put it right in the middle again. I think this is a B tier item. But I'd say top of B. Top of B.
Yeah, just due to offensive capabilities alone. Like we can, Crazy 8 and Lucky 7, you get a lot of items, but most of them are kind of like pointless.
Yeah,
right?
it's true.
You're kind of only getting it for the mushroom and the star, right?
It's true.
The green shell, I think that's solid, right? Smack in the middle, top of B tier.
But moving on from green shell, we have triple green shell. So this is, your 3 green shells. 3 green shells, they revolve around you as a player. I don't think he's ever trailed behind you or anything. They just revolve around your player, and yeah, you have, I guess, 3 times with a green shell. So 3 times the offense, 3 times the defense. It's great.
Same story, right? It's the same comments can apply to the green shell times 3. Like it's just, you know.
It's great.
But it's for that reason that triple green shells are most certainly going to be placed higher than the green shell.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much to talk about. Same thing, it revolves around the player. That's about the only difference. Besides that, you're just using the green shell 3 different times. And it's solid. I think it, like you said, it's just, of course, going to be a little bit better than the green shell. It's going to be up a tier. I'd say this is an A tier. I think this is maybe our top, probably below Bob-omb, because I think Bob-omb offensively is a bit of a better item. But
due to the explosion.
Yeah, the explosion's great. But still, triple green shells, they're great. There's nothing to complain about. They're A tier. That's where I'd put them.
Yep. That's a good spot right below Bob-omb, above Giant Banana. Like Giant Banana, you can kind of throw, but after somebody breaks it and those bananas are gone, that's it. You still have, like triple shells, you have more opportunity to hit a player. Even though the Giant Banana is big and it's stagnant, you still have ample opportunity with triple greens to do something more.
Yeah, and it's always more fun, I guess, as a strategic item, what the green shell is. It's a bit more fun to use. It's more fun to use. It's a great item. A tier. A tier is a safe spot for triple greens.
For sure.
Absolutely. All right, for our next item, we have another double dash item, actually. This is another special item given for, I think, Peach and Daisy this time.
Yeah.
And it is the heart. The heart. And so how this item works is it can pick up any item that's thrown at you or on the ground and put it into your item slot so that you can use it. It's pretty unique.
It's kind of broken.
Yeah.
Like I think a lot of people like the fake item box. A lot of people sleep on this one. They don't give it enough credit because the heart, even though it doesn't last super long, it's really strong. Honestly,
it is.
Like it's got some pretty crazy attributes to it.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, because you can pick up an item that might even be better than, like, per se, a green shell. You can get a red shell thrown at you, and now you have a red shell to use. And so that's a crazy offensive upgrade. And you can also pick up, I don't know, another green shell or banana and use it defensively. It's solid all around. It can really be anything. It could really be a single item of any sort. And so, I mean, that alone it's pretty powerful for sure. I think
it is. It's one of the only proper like shield items. You can have an item placed behind you for like small shield capabilities, but like there hasn't been an item outside of pure invincibility in Mario Kart that actually work as like a proper shield. This is the first one to ever do it, and it hasn't returned.
Yeah, it would definitely be cool to see this item return, just because, I mean, it's such a unique one to be in the game, and I mean, there's nothing quite like it. I mean, there really isn't any new item that's been like it's ever since, and so
no shield item, no proper shield item.
Yeah, proper shield item. It's great, man. I really can't see any real complaints with it. I'd say it's not like a god tier item or like a bad tier item. I think it's B, but it's top of B. It's very solid.
Yeah, its biggest downfall is definitely its duration. It doesn't last for that long, right?
Yeah, and you can only pick up one thing. I mean, if you could pick up more, of course, would be busted.
It'd be crazy then. It'd be nuts.
Yeah, it'd be nuts. But still, solid item. I think top of B is definitely a fair placement.
Yep. I'm with that.
For our next item, we have another very great pick. It is the Lightning. This is another iconic one to the series. It is used offensively and not really defensively, but it could be interpreted defensively, but it's mainly an offense item. And what it does is it will shock every other player in the race down to a small size, into which you're kind of like controlling the race for a period of time, in which you're way faster than everyone else. You can crush other people, like push them out of the way easily. It is, I don't know, it's a very cool item. I mean, it gives you the sense of power where you are like on top of everyone else.
You're the one in control.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the moment that you have this item in the roulette, you feel that sense of power. Like you have this magnificent item that you can use at any given point to screw over so many people. If somebody's jumping over a gap or in a gliding section, shock, and they're off the map. They're in a pit. They're done. They have to reposition themselves. You have that golden opportunity to catch up. It's better than like. I'm not gonna get ahead of myself, but in terms of the catch-up mechanic, you have the items like the bullet bill and the golden mushroom.
Yeah.
You are like the lightning bolt gives you such incredible opportunity to catch up. It's great. It's nuts.
It is nuts. I mean, really, yeah, you are pretty much faster than everyone else. You skip so many people with this item. It's the only item in the game that I'll say is like it can be used against everybody. I mean, yes, the blooper does that, but offensively, this one genuinely like affects every single racer except for you, which is it is crazy, man. Definitely the best. What I'll say, I'll probably say it so far. Definitely the best offensive item we have.
Oh, and for sure. There's no item that affects everybody besides like the blooper, like you said.
Absolutely. I wouldn't say this one's S+. I wouldn't say it's like it's not like the perfect item that you'd want, but it's still great. I think top of S, and I can't see it changing. It is fantastic.
Yeah, I'm in agreement there. We can reserve S+ for like the kings of Mario Kart, like the top of the top. Lightning is like just close to breaking that threshold, but I think S top of S is appropriate for
top of S is fair. I could see if you could argue S+, I can understand you exactly, but for now I'll put it in S. For our next item, we have our first, what I will say, I think, is our first Wii exclusive item, and this one is the Mega Mushroom. This is another one that was taken from another game. I think it was New Super Mario Bros. At the time, and it was put in. Yeah. But it is, I don't know. I think some people probably don't understand how good this item is. It is fantastic. I mean, it is offensively great. It's great for speed. It's great for shortcuts. It's great for everything. Because what this item does is it makes you, it turns you into, like, mega of whatever I guess character you are, and you can just kind of crush every player around you, making them smaller and slower. And you can also like go on off-road and have the same speed stats, so it's kind of crazy. It's a crazy item that just lets you control. It's another one that lets you control the race, really. I mean, it's not to the same point where you're going to be able to hit every player, of course, like the lightning, but still, I mean, any player in your way, you're taken care of. And the only thing that can really counter it is the lightning, but yeah, it's great. What do you think about this one?
All that happens, I guess, like to bounce right off that last point, all that would really happen with a lightning bolt, like with shock strikes the Mega Mushroom, you're going from big all the way back down to small. You're not going to take that hit that every other player around you is facing. Everybody hits lightning, they're going to shrink down small, you go back to normal. You're on the same even playing field as the person that used lightning. Yeah. So it's kind of... It's a game changer in the way that it's an extra hit point if you really want to look at it like that. Yeah. You are invincible technically, but you have like that bit of buffer so that when you do get hit, you can just go back down to being regular size. No offense or buts, continue the race. Yeah, no. It would take 2 items to get you to actually be affected. And for that reason, defensively it's great. Offensively, it's perfect. And even like for speed boost and stuff, like as in terms of like I guess a mushroom or something, it's still a great item in that regards too, because I mean you can have the same stat off-road, so it's great, man. It's great all around. I can't see any real complaints with it. I think A tier is a solid spot for the Mega Mushroom, honestly. A tier for Mega Mushroom, like this is another sleeper item, like people don't really give it enough credit. Yeah. I know that I don't know if you've seen it, but like a lot of people online don't really enjoy the Mega Mushroom. They kind of want it like permanently gone from the series, but a lot of people also want it to return just due to its, I guess, positivity, its positive capabilities, really. I think the biggest like downfall it has, I think its duration is pretty short. It is a pretty short duration. It doesn't last very long. But still, man, I mean, I think it's a solid item. I can't really see any real complaints with it. It would be hard to implement in a new game, and I think that's probably why they never will. But I'd love to see it return at some point. I think it's a great item. I think it's honestly above triple green shells, and probably below the Bob-omb. I think that's a safe spot for it now. Oh yeah. I can see it being there too. Bob-omb just kind of takes the cake on offense, besides like lightning, obviously, and other items that we haven't covered. Yeah. It's another one that's really fun. Bob-omb is another item I'd say is really fun to use, and so yeah, they both kind of around the same in my opinion. They both have the great items. I could see these changing in between, but
Yeah, no, still. I think Mega Mushroom, it's slept on. I think it's a great item. A tier. On top of triple green shells and below the Bob-omb. Alright, our next item will be not the Mega Mushroom, but the normal mushroom. And this, honestly, is another great item. It's perfect, honestly. This is the one that you're looking for in the item roulette most of the time.
It is number one item, probably.
Absolutely. It gives you the speed boost that can get you a jolt for either a shortcut or just to get you further ahead in the race. All around, it's perfect. I mean, that's all it does. But at the same time, it's very fun to use. It can be like used in very strategic ways to get you even further ahead than what you'd probably think you can. I think it's a great item, man. I can't see it complaining.
It is. Like the entire premise behind getting a speed boost that you can use to your own control is something that's perfect for a racer, honestly. Like it's creating the opportunities for shortcuts, the opportunity to bypass a player without the need to use an offensive item. It's great. There's nothing like it, right? It's as simple as sure, a speed boost, but at the same time, it's like it is iconic for a reason. It's using Mario's most iconic item ever. Yeah,
and I think as much as you're looking for an offensive and defensive item, I think the thing you look for the most of the time is going to be the speed boost and the shroom. Like the mushroom is what you are looking for. And of course, this will be upgraded upon with the triple, which we'll talk about very soon. But still, this is very, very solid. And I think, honestly, this will be another S tier item. I think S tier, below the Bowser shell. And yeah, I think that for now, that'll probably be its placement. I think below the Bowser shell, S tier, still up.
That sounds good.
That still means it's perfect, by the way. That still means it's a very good item. But
it is still good. Like Bowser shell is kind of just like, it's close to peak offense, but the mushroom in itself, just as a sheer concept, is incredible.
It's incredible. Right? Absolutely, no. It's the perfect Mario Kart item. It's a staple. It's awesome. S tier.
It's awesome.
I'll keep that in. For our next item, we have the triple mushrooms. I just said we were going to talk about this one soon. I mean, this is 3 mushrooms, which mushrooms are already probably one of the best single items in this game. They're exactly what you want, and triple mushrooms is probably the item you want.
Yeah. Like, if anything, right? If you can't get gold, which is already reserved for lower placements, you're going to try to get triples as much as you can. Like, that is... like, there are strategies where, take Mario Kart 8 Yoshi Circuit, GC and Yoshi Circuit, you will try to bag in lower positions just to get either a single or triple mushroom so that you can make the gap cut at the beginning. Yeah. Triple mushrooms are very, very important, and they are super strong.
Absolutely. Even, like you say, in Double Dash, even in Wii, like there are shortcuts all over the place, and triple mushrooms are required for some of them. You need more than one mushroom.
That's super true. Really good point.
Yeah, there's multiple cuts that are required for triple shrooms, and even without that, you can do 3 single shroom cuts with the triple mushrooms. It is crazy. It is besides the golden mushroom, I'll say this is the item you want. This is the item you want in the item roulette. It is perfect, man. I can't see a real complaint with it. There's not much else to say, really. It is just 3 mushrooms, which are already solid enough. So I think,
for certain.
Yeah, without saying much more, this is an S plus, man.
Yep, it's like for having golden mushroom as the only one right now, or no, sorry, the second item in S plus. This tier specifically is reserved for the best of the best. Yeah, golden mushroom allows you to have infinite of what the triple mushroom offers. It's still like a subpar, like it's a subset of the golden mushroom. Yeah, but the fact that you do get 3 already is like kind of major.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Triple mushrooms, definitely great item. S plus, I'd say below Bullet Bill and Gold Mushroom just because they will get you further ahead in the race, but still, it is the item you want. You'll never complain when you get triple mushrooms. It is one of the all-stars for sure. It's perfect. Alright, for our next item, we have the Piranha Plant. Now, honestly, not going to say I'm a huge fan of this one. This one's another one that we probably could have done without the series, but it's alright. It's alright, man. It's another product placement for 3D World. That's what I'd say, yeah.
Yeah, the potted Piranha Plant.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. I guess what it does, you hold it out in front of your cart, and it will chomp anything that's in front of you, such as items that are left on the ground, items being thrown back at you, or racers if you're near enough, like if you're close enough.
Yeah.
You have to be close. You have to be really close for this item. I know that. Yeah, I mean, there's not much else it does. I think its biggest downsuit is that it doesn't attack behind your player. I think that's
like
probably
if you have items like a red shell trailing behind you, the bro won't like turn around and try to eat it, right?
Yeah.
He's only going to eat items that are in front of you or sometimes to the sides and racers as well. Nothing behind you. That is definitely its biggest weakness.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, thing is, I don't think this item was really needed. I think we have enough offensive items. We have enough defensive items. I don't know. This one's just, it's just not, it doesn't really stick to me. It's not an iconic one at all. I feel like this one could definitely leave in the next game. And no one would say
I don't think it's gonna come back. Like when the bro chomps as well, you get like a really tiny speed boost. But it's not enough of a boost to cut you through like any shortcut. Like you can't use it as like a single shroom cut.
Yeah.
But it's so like I don't know, man.
It doesn't.
I cannot see it returning in a new game. Honest to God.
Yeah. Like you said, like it has, I don't know, it has a lot going for it. The fact that it does a lot. Like it gives you speed boosts, offensive capabilities, but at the same time, it does it worse than most items. Like it's probably it's the worst speed boost. It's not great at all in that capacity. It's not great offensively either. Like you have to be really close to a racer to hit them. Honestly, Piranha Plant, I can't see it going high. I think it's probably on the lower end of the spectrum. I'd say C tier. I think
it's gonna join. It's joining Boomerang and Blooper and Coin for now.
Yeah, I'd say I'd put it below Boomerang Flower just because Boomerang Flower has a lot more range, is a lot better defensively and offensively. But yeah, definitely above
At least
Blooper.
You can use it behind, right?
Yeah.
You can throw the boomerang behind you.
Yeah, it's definitely better than Blooper. I mean, it eats it, right? That's another thing we hadn't talked about.
Yes, yeah. It literally eats the Blooper.
It eats the Blooper, so it's better than that. But it's not a fantastic item. I don't think anyone's like psyched about this one. It's C tier. For our next item, we have another Wii one, and it is the POW Block. Not a great one. Not a great one. Not gonna lie to you. I was gonna start this one off by saying it is pretty low down there.
It's definitely regarded as one of, if not the worst item in the series. There's another one, but we're saving that one. That one's towards the end of the video.
Yeah.
But the POW Block overall is similar to the Blooper in the fact that it is a very, very useless. There's not many good uses towards this item.
Yeah.
I'll let you explain it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I play a lot of Wii. The POW Block, it's confusing to me because I think it's a really cool idea. It kind of takes the console into hand and makes it so it's a ability. It requires you to like shake your remote to dodge it.
Yeah.
But that's also like the problem with it is that it's so easy to dodge, man. Like you're never getting hit by this.
Yeah.
Like you're in air, you dodge it. Anytime you're in air, you dodge this item. But also whenever you shake your remote, that's also a dodge. When you're using another controller, by the way, like the Pro, it is even more simple. I'm pretty sure you just like click a fucking button and it.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's very easy to dodge. I think it's a very, very unique item, and that's what makes me want to put it higher, but I can't just because it's so bad. Like it just doesn't work well, man, and it can't really return because it was kind of a gimmick. It's built off of a gimmick for the Wii, and so yeah, it's not a great item. It's definitely
it's gonna be tough if they ever do make the decision for this item to return. It's gonna be tough.
Absolutely. I mean, there's not much else to say. It's one of the worst. It's got to go D. It's got to be our next D tier item.
Yep. Put that on the very bottom.
Very bottom, below even Feather, which sucks to say, but
it's just there's no good use out of POW. Like it's another item kind of similar to Blooper and Lightning that affects a lot of people. Like it's an item that will affect a lot of players when you use it. But it's just so easily avoidable. It's not worth it, man.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's a shame.
What that shouldn't do.
I love Wii so much, but still, I cannot defend this one, guys. This one's
no, yeah,
this one's bad. This one's
irredeemable.
Bad. Yeah, bottom of D for now. For our next item, we have the red shell. This one, another staple in the series, man. Defensively, it's used the same as the green shell, of course. You just can hold it behind you to block a shot from anything. But also, the offensive capability of this is loads better. It will track on. Yeah, it'll track on to the enemy ahead of you. So that's how it works. You throw this one out, and it will track on to whatever enemy is ahead of you. Of course, they can block it with other items, but at the same time, I mean, when it comes to offense, this is like some of the best you're going to get, really.
For sure.
It's a guaranteed hit, no matter what. So it's great. It's definitely up there, I'll say that. I mean, what do you think about this one?
The red shell, it's pretty solid. I use like we can kind of use that descriptor a lot for these items, but like the red shell is great. Like it's one of the stronger on its own. It's one of the more stronger offensive items in the game. Even if you have just the singular red shell, it's only I'm trying to think of like a weak side to the item.
Yeah.
In Mario Kart 64. They didn't really program the red shell properly. If there's an opponent to the like left or right of you, like sideways, if you throw the red shell in front of you, there are times where it will just pop back over and hit them instead of targeting somebody in front. It doesn't really care. But that was 96.
Yeah.
Times are different. Overall, the red shell in its entirety is still really good.
Really good. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I can't put this one lower than A tier. I think it's where it belongs. I mean,
there's much stronger offensive items.
And we'll get into triple red soon, but that will probably be a bit higher, as you can imagine. But yes, single red shell, man. It's a great item. It's like the perfect offensive item. Cannot complain about it at all.
No, sir.
Now, for our next item is the triple reds. That is what our next item will be. And, of course, this is just better than red shell, man. It is 3 of them.
Continuing the trend.
Yeah, 3 of them. So, triple the offense, triple the defense. I've said that a lot, but I mean, that's kind of the case because there's a lot of multi-items. That's kind of what it is, right? But yeah, triple red shells, perfect, man. 3 guaranteed hits now, which is crazy. Yeah. I mean, this is some of the best you're going to get when it comes to offensive capabilities in Mario Kart. It is a amazing item. I think, without talking too much, this is S tier.
Yeah, it's definitely up there. It's like a pseudo catch-up item. It's not as strong, as powerful, or impactful as the Bullet Bill, the Star Golden Mushroom. But even saying that, it is still impactful because you get 3 direct hit, locked-on opportunities to strike a player. If they have any form of shield item, not the heart, but if they have any form of shield item, say shells, bananas, you can chew through their defense and will most likely hit them so that you can pass by.
Yeah.
It is ridiculously strong.
Ridiculously powerful. It's also worth pointing out that, it is a item that will rotate around you, so you can kind of block shots from ahead of you as well, which even gives it a bit of more of a buff. It is, I mean, man.
For sure.
It's a powerful item. It's fantastic. And S tier is where this one will
S tier.
I'd say below Lightning, of course, because Lightning is just too good.
Well, that's just too strong. Lightning is just too Lightning good. Is every target. It's 11 targets. Triples is probably 3 if you're lucky. But it's still outside of the Lightning. It is the strongest offensive
absolutely
weapon.
It'll be above Bowser Shell, below Lightning, and I think that's a safe spot for it, absolutely. Best offensive item in the game when it comes to shells. Alright, for our next item now, we have another great offensive item, and it is the Spiny Shell. This is an icon, man. This is where you see most of your iconic Mario clips will come from the blue shell. It's amazing. I mean,
it is the iconic Mario Kart item, personally, I think. Absolutely.
I mean, this is what you think of. What it does, you throw this one out, and it hits the person in first place. So, as much as I'd like to say it is like a perfect item, at the same time, I mean, you are hitting the person way ahead of you if you're in a spot that's further back. So, at that point, you're not really affecting your position at that point. But at the same time, just from sheer how iconic it is, and how many great clips are put out of it, and just how unique this one is to like screw over the first place player. I think it's really cool. I think this is a solid item.
Very unique item. It's so popular too because like it's kind of weird, but like the Mario movie, there was an entire villain character based on the concept of the blue shell. Like it is that iconic of an item. There's posters and advertisements all surrounding the blue shell. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean it's a great offensive item. I will say I don't think it's as good as triple reds, but I think this still belongs in S tier just because of its status, man. It is classic.
It is, for sure.
You gotta love it, man. It's either you hate it or you love it, but at the same time, man, you gotta respect it. You gotta.
You got to. It's like the king of Mario Kart icons. Like the other items listed above it. Mm-hmm. The only reason I think they are above it over it is because the blue shell can technically only target one person. In Mario Kart 64, it's grounded. It can hit more people, but like. We're talking series-wide here, not just one exclusive.
Yeah, and in the newer installments, it kind of got a bit of a nerf, because now it can be broken, but we'll get into that soon. Yes, we'll get into that soon. It can be broken, and also, yeah, if you're in the back of a race and you're using this, it's not really going to affect your position that much, because, I mean, you're hitting someone way ahead of you. You're not, like, passing someone with this one. And for that reason alone, I think it's still S tier. It's great, it's iconic, but I'd say it's the bottom of S tier for now.
Yeah,
right under the mushroom.
That's a good spot.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, it's funny that we just mentioned a counter to the blue shell, because we're going to talk about that one now, actually. It's the Super Horn. Super Horn is our next item. This one is introduced in 8, and what it does is, once you use it, it creates a sound wave around you that destroys all projectiles in the vicinity.
Anything, even racers that are coming by.
Yeah, like a big circle radius around you, and you're destroying everything. You either hit players, you break items coming from behind you, forward, anywhere. You could break bananas.
Some obstacles, even.
Yeah. You could break. You could break I think you can like break pipes and stuff to like hop out, and you can go through them and shit. It's really solid item, man. And I mean, the first counter to the blue shell, the first like in the entire series. I mean, there is the mushroom. You can use that as you could say that's a counter, but at the same time, like that requires crazy timing. This is like an easy, just boom. You have this in first place. You have even more control over the race, which is it's crazy, man. It's powerful. Now, I wouldn't say it's as iconic as the blue shell, but I still think just because it can destroy it, I mean, and it can destroy every projectile. So. Just because of how powerful it is, man, it's gotta go and S with it.
It's gotta go up there. It's a strong offensive item, but I wouldn't really call it like a downside or a weakness, but it's a one-time use. You only get to use this once, and then it's gone. Which if you could use it more than once, that would be ridiculous.
Absolutely, yeah. It is one use. That is a bit of a downfall. But I mean, I guess if this is in more installments in the series, and if there's more like projectiles that are added in that this can break. I could see this one going higher, but for now, I think bottom of S is fair, just below the blue shell.
Yeah, that's a good spot.
All right, for our next item, I'm not gonna lie, we're dropping down a good bit here with this one. Our next item, I just gotta say it, man. I mean, we got the Super Leaf. This one was what? It only came in 7, and it didn't return. It's
only introduced in 7 and only used in 7.
Yeah, and it's a Tanuki suit on your cart, so. What you do is whenever you hit the trigger, it will spin, the tail will spin around your player and, I guess, hit anything that's in that little small vicinity. But the thing is, that's the other problem with it, is that radius is so small, man.
Yeah,
like you are barely, it's so hard to time to break a shell or anything. It's so difficult, man. It's like what I'll say is like Super Horn does the same kind of circular motion, except way better. Like this one is like a terrible version of the Super Horn. What I'd say.
Even though you get a bit more multiple, uses out of it, it's still weak. It's not strong.
Yeah, and like you do get multiple uses, but yeah, like you said, it's not strong enough. Like that's the problem with it. If they increase the radius around your player that this could hit, it could probably go a bit higher, but I mean, I never remember being able to hit a player with this thing. Like, it was very rare that you actually did. It was very rare that you even blocked, like, a red shell that was trailing you, because it's so hard to time it. And so...
It's crazy. Like, I remember there are times in 7 where if you use the tail, and then the tail pops behind your cart, if that gets hit by a red shell while you're not spinning, like, if you're just neutral,
Yeah.
it will just break the tail.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and then your item's gone. Your item's gone.
Yeah, it's so bad, man. I don't know, man. It's not a great item. I don't think it's the worst. It's not down there with POW Block and Feather, but it's gonna have to go in C. I think that's where it would be for me.
Yeah, it's gonna have to go in C.
Absolutely. I think it's probably better than the Piranha Plant, in my opinion, but it's not better than the Boomerang Flower. Boomerang Flower is way better offensively than this thing, man.
Yeah, it's definitely got a lot more opportunity to strike players more than the Leaf does, from memory at least.
Yeah.
So that's a solid spot for it. Honestly, it seems appropriate.
Yeah, and I know people might argue a Piranha Plant could go higher, but what I'll say about Super Leaf is that at least it can hit behind you, which the Piranha Plant can't. So I guess that's my reasoning. I think it belongs in C, though. Overall, all these items so far, I think, belong in C, man. Alright, guys, for our next item, we have another iconic one. It's the star. The star, man, it's perfect. I just gotta say it right off the bat, man. Star is a perfect item.
It is one of the strongest, if not the strongest, outside of the golden mushroom.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, I think golden mushroom, of course, will get you further ahead, but this one, I mean, this one's crazy in itself. You're invisible for a short period of time. You get a crazy speed boost. You're able to attack any player that hits you, and it doesn't affect the timer or anything. You're just able to run through as many enemies or objects like that are around you, and man, it's insane. It's insanely powerful. It's another one that makes you feel like you have control over the race when you use it, and I think I mean, we've seen so far that all items like that are pretty high up, but this one kind of just does that the best. And so, I mean, without getting too ahead of ourselves, S+, man. I think that's where this one belongs.
Yeah, like as I kind of hinted towards the beginning, it's kind of true though. Like you take all the aspects from some of the better items in the tier, so the invincibility from the bullet bill and the shortcut potential from the triple shrooms and the golden shroom, and you just have the craziest item ever made.
Yep, all rounder, man. Literally, speed boost, defense, offense, everything. Like literally everything. I can't think of anything that this one doesn't help you with. And so, for that reason alone, it's S+, and I'd say it's the second best in the game.
I think Gold Mushroom still takes the cake.
Gold Mushroom's a bit better. It just helps you a little bit more when it comes to placement in the race and getting ahead, but I still think Star it's fantastic. It's one of the best. It's the second best in the game.
Definitely.
All right, for our second last item that we're going to be ranking today, we have the Thundercloud. Probably the most controversial item in all of Mario Kart. I'll say it, man. Besides, well, maybe Spiny Shell, but still. I think this one's even more controversial.
Yeah, I think you're pretty spot on there. I'd say the TC definitely has a lot more hate towards it than the Blue Shell.
Absolutely.
There's a lot more frustration with the Blue Shell compared to the hatred of the Thundercloud.
Yeah. So this item works in the way that when you obtain the item, you're given a speed boost once it's like held, but it is timed to eventually electrocute the player. And the only way to get rid of this is to hit another player directly head on, and so you can pass it to them. And they can even pass it back to you, and for that reason, I mean, as soon as you get this item, anxiety, man. That's all I gotta say.
You are immediately filled with that sense of anxiety. Like, I need to get rid of this now. I hear the noise coming from my speakers and my TV through my Wiimote.
Yeah.
Like, I need to get this out.
And even for the other players, man, it's even more terrifying because you don't know if they're going for you.
God, it's coming.
Are they going for me? Or are they going for the other person next to me? Like, it is a crazy feeling. It's the only item that really does that in Mario Kart.
It's unique.
Yeah, but that's what I'll say, man. It's a very unique item, man. It's probably one of the most unique ones in the series. Because although, yes, anxiety is not a good feeling. You don't want that when playing Mario Kart, but at the same time, man, the strategy involved in this one is just nuts.
Think of the uniqueness. Right.
It's nuts, man, because you can use it to get ahead in the race, but you can also, screw yourself over by using it for too long. Like, it depends on the player. Like, some people can I've seen some people who are good at Wii use this thing to skip multiple placements. It is nuts.
Which is wild. In and of itself, it's crazy.
Yeah, I think just from strategy alone and from just how cool and unique of an item it is. I know people are gonna tear us apart for this, but I think
we may be the only Thundercloud defenders right now.
Yeah.
But
And like, don't get us wrong, we're not putting it up very high, but we've been thinking about it. We've been talking about this one honestly outside of the list that we're doing, and we think this belongs in B tier, honestly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Which may be controversial. Not, you know, hit that up in the comments. That's what we're here for.
Yeah. If you don't agree, man, go ahead and tell me why. I mean, totally reasonable. I can understand why people would put this low. I can understand why people put this really high. Honestly, I'd defend it.
Tier lists are fully opinionated. Like, you know,
yeah.
that's just how it is.
That's just how it is. Yeah. So I think B tier is a solid spot. I wouldn't put it very high in B tier. I don't think it's better than anything like the banana, but I think I'd put it higher than the chain chomp. Honestly, I'd put it right in between banana and chain chomp. I think that's a solid spot for it. All right, for our final item, we have the Yoshi and/or Birdo Egg. And now this one, another double dash. We're ending on a double dash item. This is a special item that is unique to only Birdo and Yoshi, of course. And what it is, it's pretty much a red shell that when after hitting a player will release a random item onto the ground. And I mean, really unique, man. That's all I gotta say. Like, it's a red shell with a bit of a benefit, which is crazy.
It is. It's kind of strong in that sense, where you have the capabilities of the red shell. You have the properties, the attributes of a red shell, but having that extra bonus of when the shell breaks, these items, random items, will scatter across the track that give you an opportunity to either run into it and take damage or leave a trap for somebody else, but you could also benefit from it.
Yeah.
I don't exactly know or remember the items, but I know there's a chance a mushroom and a star could possibly come out of the egg. And if you hit that alongside hitting somebody with that red shell, you're set.
Yeah.
You're set.
And I mean, yeah, I think that's enough to say that it really is just an improved red shell. Yes, people could grab the good items from it and you can kind of screw yourself over with it. But most of the time, if you use this red shell strategically, right behind a player, you can throw it and immediately get another item that drops on the ground that's positive towards you. And I mean, that's crazy, because then you have a red shell and a mushroom or a red shell and a star, which is crazy combo, man. Very powerful.
Yep.
And I think for that reason alone, I think this one belongs on top of the red shell. Directly on top of the red shell in A. Top of it.
Because it does what it... Fuck. It does what the red shell does, but better.
Yeah.
Just due to that random element fact.
Absolutely. I think it's unique. It's a great item. Top of A, I think, is a safe spot for the Yoshi/Birdo Egg.
Yep. I'm in full agreement.
Well, that concludes me and Xsword's rankings. Do you agree? Do you not agree? Let us know in the comments and we'll make an effort to read through them all. Also, seriously, I know we already said all this, but make sure to go check out Xsword's channel and subscribe to him, since over on his channel we are going to be ranking all of the Mario Galaxy items. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like, or even subscribe to the channel if you're feeling generous. This really was an idea that me and Xsword had on our minds for a very long time, and we're super happy to finally have it out for you guys. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
My next item, the Twinkie. Ugh.